time for being here so we can study together and learn a little bit more about the, the teachings left, exemplified by Jesus and left to us to learn so we can progress in our journey. This is my first presentation in English, so I maybe say some words from the gospel. I'm not very aware of the gospel in English because I learned it in Portuguese, and some of my references are not translated in English yet, but I try my best to put them in the English language, and everybody is welcome to help me because then you guys learn Portuguese and I improve my English. Okay? And the study for today is the need of charity. As Carla already started, about the reading, the first reading, the introduction, she was saying about, like, we read a lot of books, we have a lot of learning, but how much we put in practice? Because it's still like a big gap. I bet, like, all of us have a lot of things that we want to do it. We learn it already. We want to make changes. However, it's really hard to put in practice, even though we try. So one of those is going to be charity. We have all different ideas what charity means, and I'm going to try here to explain the charity based on the Spiritism teaching. So, need of charity. Is there a need of charity in the world? You guys don't have to answer. Just think, like, do you guys believe that we need charity in the world nowadays? And if that is a need for, are we able to do charity? Do we have this ability to practice charity if you want to? And if we do, can we do more charity than we have done lately? So if you already we practice some charity, can we do a little bit more? Understand the word charity. Charity comes from the word in Middle English, charity, from Anglo-French, charité, and from the late Latin, carita, or caritas, in Latin caritas, which all means love. So the word charity means love. And if we go back to our questions and substitute the word charity for love, is there a need for love in the world? I think that is more like positive, right? More confident. Yes, we definitely need it. And are we able to do love? Sounds weird. Able to do love? But if we take the verb to do off the sentence, are we able to love? I think we all are. Okay, people love in different ways. They understand love. Love is a very big word, very broad. We all think love in certain way, but we are all capable to love because we are built from love. We are created from love. So we already have this on us. It's just a matter of fact to develop or maybe find inside us, because sometimes we get so hurt in life and we have so many experience that unfortunately we don't understand that love, it starts not to disappear, but it starts to be overloaded from those experiences and other feelings, but we all able to love. Can we do more love, can we love more in that case than we have done lately? Oh, yes. Because we come from pure love, and guess what? Pure love we all can become if you are not already. So, according to the Spiritist book, on the third part of the Spiritist book, when Kardec talks about the moral laws, on a question 625, Kardec asked to the spirits, what's the most perfect type that God has offered to man as his guide and model? And the spirits answered, Jesus. Jesus is the type of the moral perfection to which man may attain upon this earth. So the spirits make very clear, if we have to follow man, any man, in this planet, in earth, that was Jesus. He's the perfection, the moral perfection for us to follow up to. So then, Kardec also, on the same part of the Spiritist book, on a question 886, what's the true meaning of the word charity as employed by Jesus? And the spirits respond, benevolence for everyone, indulgence for the imperfection of others, and forgiveness of injuries. So benevolence for everyone, no exceptions, all. The ones that are very close to us, that we love the most, to those that we don't know, or even those who sometimes, we have a hard time with. We all should be benevolent to them. Indulgence for the imperfections of the others. So once we build this indulgence for the imperfections, we can understand people better. Why sometimes what we consider as a mistake, okay, has to be understood, because we all make mistakes, right? Maybe what is easy for me is not as easy for someone, or something that I know that I do very well, someone has difficulties, and vice versa. So indulgence for the imperfection of others, and forgiveness of injuries. If we think to the point that we reach benevolence for everyone and indulgence for the imperfections of others, is there a need for forgiveness of injuries? I don't think so, because we wouldn't be offended, we wouldn't be injured anymore, because I have a benevolence, I have a goodwill for everyone. I understand, my people's mistakes and imperfections. So I don't even get offended anymore. There is no reason. It doesn't hurt me. I have this understanding and this love and this compassion. So I don't get offended anymore. You're gonna get there. On Emmanuel, on the book Vinha de Luz, which there is no title in English because it hasn't been translated in English yet, talks about essential charity. He makes clear that that charity, okay, that love, there is all kind. There is no better charity, no charity that is too big or too less. Charity is charity. When you love, you love. So he explained to us, in all places and situations of life, charity will always be the divine source of the Lord's blessing. Whoever gives bread to the hungry and water to the thirsty, a remedy to the sick, and light to the ignorant, is collaborating in the building of the divine kingdom, whatever sector of religious existence or faith to which it has been called. So it doesn't really matter what we do as charity. They all is building the divine kingdom. And doesn't matter what religion we belong, is an existence or faith to which has been called. So everybody gonna do based where they learn which religion, but it's their faith that has been called. He also says, therefore, the smallest manifestation of charity, born of the sincere willingness to serve with Jesus, are sacred and indisputable actions. In everywhere, it always be sublime lights of fraternity, disseminating joy, hope, gratitude, comfort, and blessed intercessions. Again, no matter what we do, we always, gonna be an action and willing to serve Jesus. And gonna bring lights of fraternity, disseminating joy, hope, gratitude, comfort, and blessed intersections. But he makes sure that we understand that, however, before the charity to manifest exteriorly from the various sectors of life, let's practice the essential charity. That's how he kind of focus on the word essential, which without we cannot attain our edification and redemption. It is the charity that we think, speak, and act according to the teachings on the Lord in the gospel. So, like Carla said on the opening, it's not just to understand or read or talk about it, but truly live in our actions every day. Try to conform. I heard one time in Portuguese, if I translate right, that Jesus do not convince. He converts. He transforms. So it's great that we are already trying to learn. We are educating ourselves, but actions are necessary. That's what we work every day, like Carla said. From the moment that we wake up to the moment we're going to sleep, even throughout our dreams, because as spiritists, we all know that when we dream, when we sleep, the work didn't stop. Our body are in rest, but our spirit, are working, depending how we connect. So it's a constantly work. And that's why I think they say practice charity, because we have to keep practicing to get better and better. So I guess you have to be practicing to love more and more. On Spiritist, and the Gospel according to the Spiritism, Kardec used the title for chapter 15, Without Charity There Is No Salvation. At the beginning, this sentence was like an article that Kardec wrote in a newspaper, to talk like some, to answer back to the church, because back then, we used to say without the church there is no salvation. So have that idea about, hell and heaven. So Kardec wrote an article with that sentence, but then on the Gospel according to the Spiritism, he kind of used the parable. He did use the parable of the Good Samaritan. That is, we can find in Luke, the evangelist, on chapter 10, versicle 25 to 37. So I'm going to read the parable so we can understand, and we're going to analyze and try to understand how would be the love meant by Jesus. So the parable talk about, Jesus was questioned by a doctor of the law about what's the way to reach the eternal life. And the doctor answered to Jesus, responded to Jesus, saying, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And Jesus said to him, You have answered well. Do so, and you shall live the eternal life. However, the doctor of the law was not really satisfied with the answer. So asked to Jesus again, "And who is my neighbor?" So that's when Jesus tells the parable of the Good Samaritan. That's the way it goes. A certain man was coming down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of thieves, who stripped him of his clothes, covered him with wounds, and left him half dead. Afterward, it just so happened that a great priest was coming down by the same way, and having noticed him, passed him by on the other side. A Levite, who also came to do the same spot, saw him, but passed by on the other side. But when a Samaritan, who was on a journey, came to where the man was and saw him, he was touched with great compassion. He approached him and poured oil and wine on his wounds and bandaged them. And putting him on his own animal, took him to an inn and cared for him. The following day, he took 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, "Take good care of this man, and whatever more you spend, I will repay you when I return." So, when we study this parable, like we all know, like that Jesus talked, the way that people at the time could understand. So sometimes it look a little weird to us because sounds like, but we're gonna try to understand the best way we can this parable. A certain man, so could it be any man, certain, no specification. Remember we had groups, okay, back then, they all came from the same kind of history, but they are groups, different ones. We had the how do you say Pharisee in English? Pharisees, thank you. They have the Pharisees, they have the Sadducees, is it right? Sadducees, thank you. We have the Sadducees, we have the Samaritans, we have different groups. So a certain man, no specification. A certain man was coming down from Jerusalem to Jericho. Geographically, Jerusalem, it's kind of around 700 meters to 800 meters above sea level. And Jericho, it's below sea level, okay, like 200 and something, 250, I think, below sea level. So it's kind of a big distance, like Jerusalem is very up high and Jericho is very up, like low, down below. Jerusalem, as we all know, it's where the Temple of Solomon was at every, Jewish, like we could go and pray. Until nowadays, we have like all the basic like religions in the world go to Jerusalem, search for their faith, to express, to have the feeling. So it's still a very sanctuary place. And Jericho was a very commercial city, okay? Had one of the big oases, which we know for the area having an oasis is like a blast, you have your journey through the desert, so you'll definitely want to find oasis and have the oasis there. And the riches of Jerusalem also have their homes there. So it was like a very cosmopolitan city for the time. So a man is coming from Jerusalem, very spiritual city, like coming to Jericho, very commercial, materialistic, you know, city. So if we analyze the idea, it's like when we are connect to our spiritual side, okay, and we start to be more involved with the daily living and the material life, the everyday thing, and we start to disconnect a little bit. So was this man coming down, and he was, he fell into the hand of thieves. He didn't look for these people. He fell, was an accident, happened to him. How many times, okay, when we disconnect a little bit of ourselves, spiritual side, we get carry on with everyday routine, with our things, our concern. We fall suddenly, like we realize that we fell into some difficulties that we didn't look for. At least we think we didn't look for, and realize like, oh my God, how I get into this position, how I get into this place that is going on. Like we got like felt like that someone like really attack us, like the situation attack us. So this is kind of the idea. He fell into the hand of the thieves, and the thieves stripped him of his clothes and covered him with wounds and left him half dead. When we are in situations that we don't know what to do, or we feel so lost because we are disconnecting from our spiritual side. So it's kind of our faith decreases, like we think that nobody's really helping us, or we kind of lose our hope. We have this feeling of we are naked, right? Like there is nothing left. Because no matter what we look at around, like we don't see nothing is worth it. We have who have been there, in situations that you feel like there is no hope, nothing going on anymore, like what to do. We feel like you are dying, like really, we have that. So afterward, when that happened to this certain man, a priest was coming down by the same way. So a priest was coming also from Jerusalem to Jericho. So was the priest like disconnecting a little bit? He's a priest, but he's not perfect. Nobody's on the same level of perfection as Jesus. So even though this priest knows so much about God's law and have all this religious knowledge, from the scriptures and everything, is still vulnerable, right? We are all vulnerable to disconnect. And he looked and he didn't do anything. So we assume he would be the best person to help, but maybe he was not in his good condition to help. Who knows? He didn't do anything. And then in Levitt, who also came to the same spot, saw him, but also passed by on the other side. Another one. The Levitt was the one who teaches. Most of people that time, they didn't know how to read. So they have everything was taught by the Levitt about the religions, the laws, and everything. So he also know a lot. But again, he didn't do anything. He passed to the other side. But when a Samaritan was on a journey, the Samaritans was not well seen, okay, by the Jewish, because the Samaritan practiced in a more strict way. They only believed at the time on the 5 books of Moses, not the other books that came after. So they only practiced the 5 books. Their law would be based only on the first 5 books from Moses. And they built their own temple, so they don't have to travel, to Jerusalem every time of a festivity, celebration, or even to pray. So they were not very well seen. But here also say the Samaritan was on a journey. Didn't say that it was coming down or going up or north to south, south to north. Was in a journey. When we are in a journey, when we are going to somewhere in a journey, gives an idea that we know where we're going. We are in a journey, we are in a process of reaching to a point. So we are coming from point A to point B. We are in a journey. So we know where we're going. We are in that process. And this Samaritan was on a journey. The Samaritan was in a process, of going to somewhere. Like we are in a process here because we all trying to reach the perfection, but not the perfection because you want to be better than others. It's the perfection to transform our spirits to the point that we reach the same love that God believes that we're supposed to have, like benevolence, indulgence and forgiveness. So I guess we all here in a journey, right? We know where we want to reach, where to go. So come to where a man was and saw him and was touched with great compassion. He approached him and poured oil and wine on his wounds and bandaged them. So he did like the first aid, the first care. So when we see someone and we are willing to help, the first thing we do is give to this person that we want to help what the person needs. Not what we think is right, not what we believe. We don't question. When we are really willing to help, we give what the person needs, like the first aid. There we do. Like when paramedics come to scene, they do what is necessary first, right? So that's the idea. Then we help the person. That's what the guy did. He used what he had, which was oil and wine. That time, the culture was pretty much based in oil, wine, and grains. That's what they have all the time. Maybe when they got on a journey, in a physical journey. So he used what he had to help the best way he could. So he helped that man with oil and wine and put the man, bandage everything, so make everything calm, nice, properly, like good to go. But he didn't leave the man there, like, oh, okay, now I fix your wounds, you'll be fine. He didn't leave the man there. He put his man on his animal, okay, and took him to an inn and cared of him. So when we help people, and okay, you are hungry, I give you bread, I give you food, whatever, you are cold, I give you clothes. That's what you need right now. But we don't leave that person behind, because if the person is hungry today, once that food is gone, what happened? You're gonna be hungry again, you're gonna be cold again, whatever. If the person is depressed today, sad today, is suffering today, even though we try to help right away, we calm things down, we don't leave that person there, because it's gonna happen again, right? If it happened once, it can happen twice. Nobody learns on the first try, ever. No matter what we do, we never learn it on the first try. So we are always, in chance of things happen again and again until we finally be able to manage. That's what the guy did. He didn't leave him on a road. He put on his animal, he took to an inn, to a better place, like to comfort. And sometimes we cannot carry on the help that we provide, but we can kind of walk, direct, guide the person that we help to other people or to organizations, whatever kind of help we are doing, that they can help better. Like when we bring, like sometimes we bring friends here, they are having like a hard your time, and you invite them to come to hear, and then they come and they watch, a presentation, and they listen. And what do we do? Like maybe we don't have the words yet to help. What do? We take, to the people here that can help better, they can guide them better what to do, right? Like the fraternity work that we provide here, that we invite people if they want to talk, is the same thing. So when we help people, either in a materialistic ways or in with support, emotional support, spiritual support. This guy took, the Samaritan took him to a better place that someone could help the man left on the road, and took 2 silver coins and gave to the innkeeper, to the person there. And 2 silver coins in that time worth it like 1 day of work on a field. So you would go to the field in the morning, work, and at the end of the day, you would be paid with 2 silver coins. And so, how many times that made us think, how many times we work so hard for certain things, we work so hard for our own personal changes, okay? And then when we see someone doing the same thing we are doing before, they're not working as hard, you say oh, I won't help. I work so hard, why that person cannot do the same? And this, So that's, I think, the idea, the 2 silver coins. This man worked physically hard here, everything he worked for 1 day, but he didn't think twice to give, in pro of to help someone else. So yes, we do have to give sometimes more than we have, or maybe when we work very hard, because the person who is in need, because we all in need of something, but that person that we are trying to truly help, like Jesus would do, needs more than sometimes we can keep for ourselves. And then he said that he would pay more, whatever was left, when he came back. When we help someone, we take care first. Maybe we guide to someone else who can help better. But that's one thing that really got me in this, is because we need to check. Like I said, if it happens once, you help it again. Nobody changes on a first try. So even though we left in better hands, it's good to come back and check to this person. And that really got my attention. We are willing to help and do things, but how many times as pass by we come and check to see if that person is doing okay, is doing better, if it's not in need of something else. So we have to come back, always in check. And I think that's the way, Jesus tried to explain what's really charity, because towards to the end, when he finished to tell the parable to the man of law, he says, which of these 3 seems to you to have been the neighbor of the one who fell into the hands of the thieves? And the doctor of the law responded to him, the one who showed compassion on him. Jesus said to him, go and do likewise. So, based on that statement from Jesus, go and do likewise. Now that we understand a little bit more what charity is, what love really means, okay, the way Jesus sees, we can definitely try to go and do likewise, okay? Maybe we are not there yet, but again, charity is practice, love is practice. We always can do more. So Emmanuel, on the book Live Spring, chapter 60, alms, suggests us to start to practice, to understand if we are on a right path. So he gives these questions for us to ask ourselves, to find this essential, to practice this essential charity, the essential love, the love from the essence. What do we have ourselves to give? What kind of emotions are we communicating to others? What reactions are we provoking from our neighbor? What are giving to our brothers and sisters of the daily struggle? What is the stockpile of our sentiments? What kind of vibrations are we emitting? So Emmanuel invites us to, he starts to ask, he suggested these couple questions so we know what level we are when we believe we are doing charity, because the first act of charity should be to ourselves. Because like he said before, I mentioned here, before we do outside, we have to practice inside, because nobody can give what they don't have. So we have to find inside ourselves, see what place we are, and what's going on with us. The first person to receive our own charity is ourselves, okay, our own love, that's self-love. And he gives those questions for us to start to try to understand in what moment we are, so we can make changes as necessary. Okay, so it's pretty much is the study for today about understanding charity and love. And I know you guys usually have questions, right? I don't know, like it's different than the other days. Does anybody have any question?
Richard does.
Anything that wants to clarify?
Finish it for me.
Okay.
I can't
Go
see
ahead.
it.